This is just too funny. Rand Paul, as you know, and I think, we haven't talked about this, and I guess apparently this still remains the big story in Rand Paul world. Rand Paul, when he announced his presidency, or I should say his seeking the presidency, went on a couple of news hits, and he has always seemed to have this problem where he literally shushes women or talks over them.
Hey, wait, shh.
Right. I mean, he does it. It's
you ever
weird.
Play chess?
It's like a
Probably
weird tick.
Because you're limited intellect.
And look, I think the guy's been interviewed by men. I've seen him interviewed by men. You'd never see him doing that. You never see him going shush, shush, shush. And apparently it is still dogging him. I don't know if it's funders are saying, hey, you clearly have a problem or what. But he is still out there having a talk about it. He went on in an interview with an Iowa talk radio host, Simon Conway. Maybe it just could be because people in Iowa are, it's really, they just think it's rude in some way. I don't know. I don't even know that I've ever been to Iowa. So it could be just that, they're that whole thing they used to say Chris Christie wouldn't play well in Iowa because he's so rude. Maybe that's what it is. But here is Rand Paul now saying he is really, this is a little bit of an Escher quality to this when he tries to describe why people criticizing him are actually the real misogynists.
This is the part that really made me laugh, which was how the mainstream media went after you after your encounter with Savannah Guthrie, because I'm thinking you got Joe Biden way too touchy-feely with every woman that comes within close enough for him to actually touch. I find it really, really creepy. And all we hear from them is, Uncle Joe! You quite rightly point out that Savannah Guthrie isn't asking you a question, and you're the one with a problem with women. I find it amusing. I don't know what it did to you, but it made me smile.
Well, the kind of funny thing about it is that it's kind of a sexist position to think that somehow women announcers are less capable to handle themselves than men. I don't think that. But everybody that was complaining about it, thinking that it had something to do with gender, basically that's insulting to the people doing the questioning. But really, the problem is that we have a lot of media that are just so far on the left that we just don't have any neutral questions. If you go on there as a Democrat, they laugh and yuck it up and talk about how great things are going. But it's a little bit different when the Republicans are on the national news.
Oh, I feel so poorly for poor Rand. All those Democrats go on and they yuck it up and laugh and have mimosas. Oh, would you care for another fresh strawberry?
I've never been once offered a Bellini when I've gone on CNBC or MSNBC. I think when you punch a woman in the face, some people say that's sexist. I say they're strong human beings who can take a punch. Such a double standard.
The idea that you can't shush them, that just means that they don't believe that they can deal with being shushed.
I know you are, but what am I? It's my basic point.
What is going on with Rand Paul? I feel like there's something else going on, sort of emotional. Like his dad probably said, you're not going to win.
Dad never wanted me to succeed, and I hate him. I also hate women.
I'm taking away your gold for the weekend, Rand. You can't hold your gold. You can't come to my gold.
I remember when my dad first took away my gold bars. It was one of the most humiliating, searing experiences of my life. That and having to sit next to a black person on a bus. And taking a bus. This is just a whole rabbit hole. Shh, 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 shh. Shut up. Look at you sneaky Jew, getting inside my interior psychology.
There you go. There you go. I'm sorry. I'm just feasting on the
You
fruit
are
plate
feasting.
that the various television outlets have sent me.
You're probably also feasting on Christian baby blood as well.
Well, I dip the fresh strawberries in Christian baby blood.
So where are your horns?
Okay, I get them trimmed. I get them trimmed before I go on air.
It's so hard, Sam, to pretend because, I got to be around Jews for these fundraisers. And
Right.
it's one thing to pretend I like Israel because that's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Kick the Arabs around, sure.
Well, but the funny thing
But
is that,
actually
I
be
mean, Rand
in a
Paul,
room.
Rand Paul wanted to cut funding. I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago.
How dare you? I think this is sort of got you questioning. That's actually the best part. It's literally like he's like, instead of doing a news interview, it's almost like he's kicking somebody under a table or something. Like shut up.
Right.
I don't want people in
Did you
this
see the clip?
presidential campaign to know things that I said on mass media 4 years ago.
I rarely watch this stuff. I don't know what happened last night at 12:30 as I was noodling around for news and waiting to see if we could get any number of Congress people on about the TPP because I really want to know what was going on in the House today. But I came across the guy who was Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., was being interviewed on one of the press junkets. But the guy, it was a British guy, and he asked about, how do you feel, since you've been out of jail and drinking, and one or two questions, and Downey just basically walked off. And you get the feeling that that's what Rand Paul is about. I just want the questions where it's like, how does it feel to be traveling around in a bus? Is this different from going around with your dad? But then you get into the whole thing of what are your positions? How come you had one position before and another one now?
The whole asking about positions thing, I think, I would just love to kick back in a lazy boy with Charlie Rose and talk about anything other than my positions.